Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, let me paint this picture here. I had not planned on doing this video at all. It's Sunday morning. I just downloaded the video I had planned for this morning, TV's first interracial kiss with Captain Kirk, and I just downloaded that this morning. And I talked about the first kiss I ever had myself with this Jamaican girl. And I downloaded that a couple hours ago, and actually I was in the middle of my workout just now. One of the first times I ever actually just stopped in the middle of my workout. I was just doing, today's 1,000 sit-ups, and I just stopped at about 800 sit-ups because I was like, I have to talk about this before I lose my train of thought. It's something, I have a lot of remorse, and I know there's not a lot of real young guys watching this channel. There's probably parents of young guys watching this channel. I just want to share with you the mistakes I made and how I still think about them today. The guy I was back when I was a young man. I was selfish. I was dishonest. I was a cheating SOB, and I still, it's over 50 years later, and I still look back and I'm ashamed of myself, embarrassed, and I have remorse for the person I was. Let me paint you the picture here. Back up until at the time I was 13, I was overweight. I was quiet, and then after my dad died, we moved to the kind of like the rougher side of the tracks, and I lost a lot of weight. I grew about 8 inches. I started buying my mom started springing for the Levi's and the in fashion clothes, the Nikes, and all of a sudden I was getting noticed by girls. I was like when I was a freshman in high school. Not just I was getting noticed by other freshman girls, but I was getting noticed by sophomore girls. And I was actually dating a junior girl that was very popular. It was on the volleyball team. And looking back at this, I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I think it was new to me. That this access to girlfriends and to being acknowledged, to having girls notice me, and I was very fickle and dishonest, and to this day I'm still embarrassed about this. Let me fill you in here. One of the very first girlfriends, like when I moved to this new part of the town, this girl, we'll call her Sonia. I was 14 years old, and we had a crush. She looked, we used to call her Pocahontas. She had long dark hair, gorgeous girl, and I dated her from the time I was 14 till I was 21, when she promptly broke up with me. Right now she's married to who was my best friend back in high school, and they got a beautiful big house, great jobs, kids in college and everything. She actually dumped me and married my best friend, and I deserved it. Honestly, I deserved it. Looking back, I was a big cheater. Looking back at who I was back then, I cheated on this girl so many times, and now she won't even talk to me. She won't even acknowledge me. And this is 40, 50 years later. And I don't blame her. I remember cheating on her over and over again. And since then, I've never cheated. Like I said, I could make up reasons and excuses, like this was new to me and I was new to getting attention like this. But I was just selfish. I remember I must have cheated on her about, 8, 9, 10 times. I remember actually going with another girl and coming into school the next day with a hickey on my neck. I don't know what my plan was. I don't know how I didn't even have a plan. It's like I didn't even care about. Looking back, I can't imagine how much I hurt this person. Now I have empathy. Back then, I can't believe I was this person. I can't blame this on drugs or drinking, because this was even before that. And it wasn't just that girl. It was, I remember seeing another girl, like around town, like when I was maybe 17. I had a car, and she was very full-figured, very busty, and I wanted to date her, and I was already dating my girlfriend. So I made this little secret date, and I went and picked her up on a Saturday night. I picked her up at her family's house, and looking back, she really liked me. She thought this was, she was meeting a nice guy, the possibility for a relationship. She brought me into the house to meet her family. And looking back, I just cringe at the person I was. I just intended on going out with her that one night and doing what I could and covering it up the next day and moving on. I hear myself say that, and it's embarrassing just to even admit that. And it gets worse. We went to the drive-in, and there was a half bottle of vodka in my car in the back seat, I remember. And so I pulled it out and I started drinking it. Now I was younger, and she told me that even at that age that she had a problem with alcohol. She actually told me she was an alcoholic even at that young age. So she had a serious drinking problem. Now I hadn't realized that. I hadn't even really gotten into my problem yet. That I would become an alcoholic and drug addict, or I was at that point, but I just didn't know it. And this is the worst part, and one of the things I'm so ashamed of is that I encouraged her to drink. I was like, here, come on, come on, and I think she took a swig. But looking back at the guy I was, just ignoring what was best for this girl, just to use her. Like I said, it's embarrassing and it's shameful. The point of this video is, it's 40 years later, and I still remember this, and I'm still embarrassed and ashamed of the person I was back then. It was weak. It was dishonest. It showed my own insecurities. And I lost out. I lost out on what would have been, if I hadn't cheated on my girlfriend back in high school. I remember she was actually getting stuff together for when we got married. She wanted to marry me. And she actually, like I said, she actually did end up marrying my best friend not too long after this, after we broke up. My life could have taken a whole different direction. I mean, it is what it is now. But I have so much. That's the point of this video. Don't do something. Be a good guy. Don't be. I don't understand people cheating now, and I don't understand how I was this person back then. Now when I'm in a relationship, I couldn't even imagine cheating now. It would be so much. I don't want to call it work, but when you're in a relationship, you commit. You're mentally, emotionally, physically to one person. And I can't imagine having, sharing myself with two women. It would be exhausting for me, to make up two different facades and trying to hide one from the other. I can't imagine doing that, and I can't imagine guys that do that nowadays. Like I said, I made another video about the black friend of mine that asked me why I didn't have kids, and I come across that attitude sometimes, that dating more women, having women on the side is manly. And I don't see, to me it's just glaring insecurity now is what I see. There's no reason that I would ever need to cheat. Once you're in love with a woman and she's providing you with everything that you could ask for, why would you possibly make a mistake of being dishonest and cheating on a woman who's giving you all of her love? I couldn't imagine it now. That's just something I wanted to share with you guys. Like I said, it's been on my mind since I made this video about the first kiss, this previous video. I haven't been this person in 40 years. I was that cheating, lying guy back in my high school years to my early 20s, and then I started using and drinking, and everything was cheating and lying during the years that I used, and so were the girls that I dated. The girls that I dated that were using, it was just a big you can't really have a real relationship when you're involved in that kind of level of addiction, in my opinion. And since I've been clean and sober for the last 17 and a half years, I couldn't imagine being dishonest and cheating in any relationship. It's just because I just feel like I think about how the other person, putting myself in the other person's position, and how painful that would be to be a fool, to be made a fool of. I couldn't imagine doing that to somebody now, but I did back then, and I regret it to this day. So hopefully somebody out there, or maybe the kids, if you're watching this, maybe your kids, it's something I still regret. And I lost out big. I lost out on a family, a marriage, a nice house in the suburbs, which my friend, my best friend, my ex-best friend has now, that I could have had if I wasn't such a cheating, lying SOB. Just something to think about. All right. Recovery is possible. Have a good Sunday.